welcome on board to Inside Arsenal on Eugene Talks Football. It's Thursday. I hope all of you are doing well today. Just to quickly remind you that it's the international break this week. There are no club commitments across Europe and every other part of world football. Players have already linked with their national teams to prepare for the upcoming international fixtures. Of course, there are mouth-watering fixtures that can get us entertained in this international break. The likes of Brazil versus England, Belgium and England respectively, and so on. A lot of games, mouth-watering matches uh, to whet our appetite as we wait for club football the week after. A lot of news have made the headlines in the last couple of hours that we will be discussing today, apart from news regarding Arsenal. But of course, we will always first talk about Arsenal as it's exclusive on Inside Arsenal. But before we kickstart the process this morning, please do us a favor to subscribe the channel if you're new. Make your comments heard, make your voice heard in the comments, and please hit the like button on the video as we kickstart the business of the day. Yes, the latest news making the rounds at Arsenal Football Club is that Takehiro Tomiyasu is the latest player that has committed his future to the Arsenal. Takehiro Tomiyasu penned to paper on a 2.5 year deal that extends his contract till 2026 and an option of a further year that would see him remain at Arsenal till 2027. It was just last week that Ben White penned pen to paper on a new deal at the Arsenal. Listen, people, this is a clear example of a club that is heading in the right direction. This is just a clear example. What more could we have asked for as Arsenal fans? A couple of years ago, there was no structure in this club. There was no clue as to as to the direction that the club is headed. But now we see players collectively, week in, week out, are extending their contracts. This cannot just happen for no reason. It is because of the structure that is in place in the club, the functioning of the club. We used to be a banter club, like we don't even have a direction. But now players are signing contracts, and these are players that are under 30. What more could we have asked for a club that is progressing, that is having a trajectory towards success? Ben White and Tomiyasu are not just the players that have extended their contracts at the Arsenal. We're talking about the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, Aaron Ramsdale, William Saliba, Martin Odegaard, Reece Nelson. Unfortunately, Reece Nelson will be leaving soon, but there's no confirmation yet. So these players have committed their future to the club. These are quality players. These are players who have never won anything. These are players that are hungry for success. These are players that are determined to succeed, and they have committed their future to the club. And we have an outstanding manager, a manager that is a force to reckon with in world football, that is just starting. So every indication points to success where this football club is concerned. In terms of success, we are headed in the right direction. What more could we have asked for? Yes, we need depth. Depth is what we are working towards as well. And the club is not just stopping there. There is news now that Mikel Arteta's new contract is incoming, and Thomas Partey and Jorginho. These are quality and exceptional players, and they are the only players who are above 30 in the squad. So there is every possibility that they will be staying for a further year or two. So I'm just trying to say is that Arsenal Football Club is heading in the right direction. Fans can be so comfortable, relaxed, and enjoy the next couple of years. What Arsenal, what the success that Arsenal is set to achieve in terms of the fact that there is good structure in the club, there's a foundation, there's a plan. There were times where we were the banter clubs, where the owners were not interested in this football club. They put all their investments in other clubs they have in the United States. But now it is rife. We can see, though, as a fan, personally, I'm not 100% contented yet. But when it's compared to the seasons before, it is very clear that there is improvement. There is a direction that we're headed, and it's no other direction than a direction that leads to success. So we have everything to be excited about at this football club, you know. So yeah, that is that. Takehiro Tomiyasu has extended his contract at Arsenal till 2026, and of course, an option of a further year that will see him till at Arsenal till 2027. And there are players that have been linked with a move to the Arsenal a couple of for some time now, and the latest player that is being linked with a move to the Arsenal is Nottingham Forest defender Jason Murillo. This is a player who came to Nottingham Forest just last summer. He's 21. He's a left-footed centre back. Of course, he has been doing really well, but you would see that he's performing in a team that is on not on par with the top clubs. So you can't judge him by that standard. He's a quality player. He's a good player. He has really led the line well in defense for Nottingham Forest recently, though they've shipped in goals and they are having struggles at the moment as they are also part of the clubs who have been sanctioned by football's profit and sustainability rule. So if truly Arsenal is linked with this player, I don't think it's going to be a very lengthy negotiation process as Nottingham Forest are willing to sell players at the moment because of the situation that they are in. So that is the latest player that is being linked with a move to Arsenal. Let me know what you think in the comments as well about Jason Murillo. Is he a player that's going to be a perfect fit at Arsenal? I'm thinking that we need a right centre back more than we do a left centre back. But what more can I say? So that is the latest player that is being linked with a move to our football club. Jason Murillo is a Brazilian. Okay, that is that. And there is a news that is emerging from St. George's Park at the training camp of the England national team. It's a bit of a worrying news though, but since the news emerged, there is no further information with regards to the news, and there's been stability. There hasn't been fear. Now it is said that Bukayo Saka is training away from the main England group. Isn't it scary? Isn't it something of a concern? Of course it is. The Arsenal winger is working indoor on an individual training plan on international duty today. Uh, I'm a bit not too worried because uh, this break that we're having, England have already qualified for the Euros, and they are just friendly matches, and there are new crop of players in the England setup that have just been called up, that have been recently called up, a lot of players. So you would expect these players who have been called up newly to feature more in this international break because they're friendly matches. So it is aimed at accessing these young players to see the players that will be fit enough to make it to the Euros. So I would quite understand that, knowing that as we have a very important uh, uh, business after the international break. So I will understand that it is only fair for the manager to have Bukayo Saka rested and to not give him the workload in this international break. And this is me just being positive, just being optimistic. But we should keep the optimism to ensure that Bukayo Saka is in is fully fit. But that's the news that came out from that emerged from St George's Park at the England Training Center yesterday. That Bukayo Saka is training away from the England group. Yeah, he's on an individual training plan on international duty. That is that. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, the next story is that recall that Ben White asked to be excluded from the England setup for this international break, and we were, you know, there was uncertainty as to the reason, the main reason why he declined the invitation from the England national from the England coach. But there's a bit of news that emerged from Fabrizio Romano as to the main reason why Ben White has rejected to be called up by England. And here is the news. Ben White rejected to be called up by England after Southgate's assistant Steve Holland made a comment that the defender is not sufficiently interested in football. That is a report from the Telegraph. Sorry, not Fabrizio Romano, from the Telegraph. So do well to get the details from the Telegraph. But it's a kind of shocking that Southgate's assistant Steve Holland made a comment that the defender is not sufficiently interested in football. In my own understanding, if a player is performing well in training, he deserves to play football. It is not he's not to be judged whether he is sufficiently interested in football or not. If he's doing the business on the field, I don't see any problem with that. So in my opinion, this is not, I'm not speaking from, this channel is an unbiased channel. I'm a diehard Arsenal fan. I speak Arsenal. But when it comes to being fair in accessing situation stories, I am completely unbiased. This is not a fan trying to support his player. In all fairness, I don't see why Steve Holland, England's assistant manager, would have a problem with the fact that Ben White is not sufficiently interested in football. As far as I'm concerned, this season, Ben White has hardly put a foot wrong on the field of play. He's one of the best right backs in the Premier League this season. He has had 4 assists and 2 goals. Who has been on the right path since he's moved to the Arsenal. So yeah, but it is what it is. That's the story there. Steve Holland is the one that has a problem with Ben White because he's not sufficiently interested in football. Yeah, I wonder why that is a problem. And the last news that relates to Arsenal Football Club is that Brazil team, the Brazil national team, they are currently in London. And do you know where they are? Where they are training? They are training at the Sober Reality Training Center. That's Arsenal's training center. They are training at the Sober Reality Training Center. They were pictured last night. I saw Richarlison training at the Arsenal training center. And I said to myself, you are a Tottenham player and you are training at Arsenal training center. It's a kind of weird. Yeah, so Brazil national team are training at the Sober Reality Training Center at the Arsenal Football Club ground. Wish them all the best for their upcoming international friendly games with England and yeah, and other teams respectively. Yeah, and other news making the rounds. Um, like a few weeks ago, Dani Alves, former PSG, Barcelona, and Juventus right back, recalled that he has been in prison for assaulting a lady at a nightclub in Spain. And recently he was found guilty of the charge, and there was a potential sentencing for him for that particular case, though it was open for an appeal. So news emerged yesterday that Neymar's father will pay the €1 million bill to provisionally liberate Dani Alves from jail. Wow, wow, what a humanitarian service that is from Neymar's father to have paid the €1 million bill to liberate Dani Alves from jail. You could say that Dani Alves is really indebted to the Neymar family. And it was further quoted that Neymar and his father had already helped Alves pay the €150,000 fine to the alleged victim. Neymar's father must love Dani Alves so well. So that's the news there. Neymar's father will pay the €1 million bill to provisionally liberate Dani Alves from jail. But if we want to critically look at this, I was shocked by Dani Alves' action. You are a successful football player. You've achieved so much in your footballing career. You are one of the most decorated players in world football. And to have you getting involved in such a mess is shocking. It's shocking. But it is what it is. So that's the news there. And of course, we'll be talking about a particular club. We'll be talking about Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea Football Club are in a mess at the moment. But we'll talk the details after this update. It's it is coming from Fabrizio Romano about Kylian Mbappe. In Fabrizio Romano's words, the negotiation between Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid is progressing well and everything is heading in the right direction. They are just waiting to sign the official contract as soon as possible. That is the crucial stage between both Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid to get the deal done. And the conversation is very positive. The salary is similar to that of the big players at Real Madrid, which includes Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Junior. And you remember that Kylian Mbappe is leaving PSG on a free transfer. So there is going to be a sign-on fee for that deal in the excess of €100 million. But there is an agreement that the money will be split, the payment will be split over the period of 5 years. You could say that Real Madrid have pulled that one up. So that is the news there, and there is no other club that is in talks for the signing of Kylian Mbappe. So it is very clear, it's all clear now that Kylian Mbappe is Real Madrid bound, because there is all agreements have been put in place for his transfer from PSG to Real Madrid. Before we say goodbye on this show, we must talk about Chelsea Football Club. What is going on at Chelsea Football Club? They are rivals, but as a fan of Arsenal Football Club, I would want to have stiff rivals, competent rivalry, in order to test my strength. So I don't know what to feel about this news that is coming out of Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are in the mud. They are at the risk of serious scrutiny, serious punishment from Premier League's profit and sustainability rule. Now, the point now is they must sell players worth 100 million euros before June the 30th. They must sell players that are worth over 100 million euros before June the 30th. That is a huge problem for Chelsea. This is a club that spent over €1 billion, 1 billion euros on players, gave them lengthy contracts, players that are inexperienced, young players that have never competed at the highest level. Of course, Enzo Fernandez won the World Cup, but the quality players that he was surrounded with. We're talking about players like Lionel Messi, Angel Di Maria. So Chelsea are in danger of being relegated from the Premier League as it stands. And the news from the Telegraph, Chelsea and Newcastle's hopes of selling players by PSR's June 30th deadline is dealt significant blow, with international bosses set to refuse access to stars during Euro 2024. Do you know what this means? Let me break it down for you. Now, should Chelsea fail to sell players that are in the excess of 100 million euros before June the 30th, definitely they will be punished by the FFP. They will be sanctioned, or they may be deducted, say, 10 points this season. And if Chelsea are deducted, let's say, 10 points this season, there will be 4 points or 7 points above the relegation zone with 10 games to go. Chelsea have not been performing well in the Premier League this season, though they are doing well in the local cup competitions. They were in the final of the Carabao Cup. Unfortunately, they didn't win it, and then the semi-final of the FA Cup. So now, the feasibility of selling players off before 30th June, the 30th June is out of place at the moment. The reason being that it's the Euros this summer, and now players are not allowed to negotiate with clubs during the Euros. The managers of national teams will not grant players access to speak to clubs when during these Euros. And the Euros is starting on the 24th June, if I'm correct, and they are meant to sell players before the 30th June. So it's a serious situation if you look at it from all angles. I don't know what's going to become of Chelsea in the next couple of months, but I hope they get out of it. So that is the situation with Chelsea at the moment. The fans are in a complete meltdown. They are in total disagreement with the owners. There's been letters going from left, right, and center, to express their disgust, their disappointment, their dissatisfaction as to the way the direction the club is headed. The fans, they boo the manager during games. The players are not performing to a certain level. So there's so much going on at Chelsea. But I hope they get out of it, and yeah, it's good for these top clubs to keep competing and see where we're at the end of the day. That's the video there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure you like the video, and I'll see you. Peace.